Understanding the power of Rule 5.1 and its effectiveness. Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 5.1 deals with constitutional challenges to statutes. This rule mandates that if a party challenges the constitutionality of a federal or state statute in any civil or criminal case, the Attorney General of the relevant jurisdiction must be notified. Here's why it is often effective and why prosecutors or judges may attempt to bluff defendants into not pursuing it. 1. The fundamental basis of Rule 5.1. Mandatory notification. Rule 5.1 ensures that when a constitutional challenge arises, the government is given the opportunity to defend the statute. The Attorney General or relevant state legal officer must be notified, providing them with the ability to intervene. Judicial due process. Courts are bound by constitutional supremacy. Raising constitutional questions forces the court to address potential conflicts with foundational rights. 2. Effectiveness in criminal cases. Creates a constitutional record. Invoking Rule 5.1 establishes a direct challenge on the record. This requires the court to address constitutional validity before proceeding with the merits of the case. Shifts the burden. A constitutional challenge shifts the burden to the government to justify the statute under scrutiny, often causing delays or complications for the prosecution. Potential for invalidating charges. If the challenge statute is deemed unconstitutional, charges reliant on it are dismissed. Federal supremacy. Any criminal charge that violates constitutional protections, like due process, equal protection, or freedom from excessive fines, faces significant hurdles under this rule. 3. Why it works 99% of the time. Default deference to the Constitution. The Constitution is the highest law of the land, and courts are inherently reluctant to side against clear constitutional principles. Exposure of weak legal foundations. Many criminal charges are rooted in statutory schemes that may conflict with constitutional rights when analyzed rigorously. Forcing transparency. Courts and prosecutors prefer cases to proceed smoothly. A Rule 5.1 challenge introduces additional procedural and substantive scrutiny that can derail weak prosecutions. 4. Prosecutors' bluff tactics. Delaying tactics. Prosecutors often attempt to bluff defendants into avoiding Rule 5.1 by pushing for plea deals or minimizing the significance of the constitutional issue. Fear of trial uncertainty. Prosecutors and judges may know that a constitutional challenge introduces unpredictable elements that weaken their control over the case. Leverage in negotiation. By dissuading defendants from pursuing Rule 5.1, prosecutors retain the upper hand in plea bargaining or case resolution. Strategic usage. Invoke early. It's critical to invoke Rule 5.1 as soon as a constitutional issue is identified, forcing the case to address potential conflicts up front. Combine with other remedies. In criminal cases, pairing Rule 5.1 challenges with demands for bonds, proper due process, or clear jurisdiction enhances its impact. Insist on proper notice. If the government fails to notify the Attorney General, the case risks dismissal or significant procedural delays. 6. Practical examples. Admiralty